This money could even potentially be earning interest while you look for your new place if it's in a savings account.
If you're really clear from the outset what you're optimising for, then it can save you a lot of heartache down the road with those hundreds of decisions during the move.
Do you buy first or do you sell first? If you're upgrading your home, this is probably the biggest financial decision you'll face. Today, I'm joined by Carmel Jarvis, home loan specialist at Westpac, and Luke Piccolo, director at Woodards Real Estate, to tackle one of the biggest dilemmas for upgraders. Which should come first, buying or selling? Let's start with buying first. Luke, what should buyers be aware of if they are tempted to snap up their next property before they've offloaded their current one?
Yeah, thanks, Alice. Property decisions, they're really all about trade-offs. In this case, trading off pressure on a potential sale or potentially putting yourself under pressure for a purchase. And so if you're looking at buying first, it can be a really great way to make sure you know where you're headed. And this can be great for people that are getting into a high-demand school zone, or they might have a very specific brief and looking for a unique property. So having the luxury of time when they're purchasing is really beneficial for them.
Carmel, can you talk about that potential pressure from a finance point of view? Is this where a bridging loan comes in?
Yeah, sure. So one of the pressure points comes from needing to pay for a new home before you've sold your current one. Most people need the money from their sale to afford the next purchase. But if your ideal home comes up before you've sold, that's where things can get tricky. A bridging loan can help in that situation. So it's a short-term loan that could allow you to buy the new one now, even though you haven't got the money from your sale yet. It's interest only during the bridging period, which is usually up to 12 months, which helps reduce repayments short-term. But it doesn't remove the financial pressure entirely. You still need to show the bank that you can afford repayments on your current property and your extra loan during that time. That's why it's really important to speak with a home loan specialist early so that you can work out whether it's a good fit for you.
Is the interest on bridging loans the same as what you pay for normal home loan?
Bridging loans usually have a higher interest rate. So let me explain that a little bit more. The bridging loan covers the total amount you owe during the transition, not just the new property. So that means the bridging loan temporarily includes the amount that you still owe on your current home loan, plus the full purchase price of your new home. This combined amount is called your peak debt, and it's usually charged at a higher interest-only bridging loan rate. Once you sell your current home, the money from that sale goes towards paying down the bridging loan. Whatever's left at the end becomes your end debt, which is your ongoing home loan, now charged at a standard home loan rate moving forward.
How much is this? How much more expensive is it compared to a standard home loan?
Well, typically the interest rate is around 2% more, but this could change based on what loan product you choose. A watch out is that a bridging loan is really designed to be a short-term solution. After the first 3 months, the rate increases by 1%. But whether or not you choose to take a bridging loan is super dependent on your financial situation. So you really need to speak to a lender to understand the pros and cons fully.
So it gives you flexibility, but it's not for everybody. Luke, what kind of buyers are typically more comfortable buying a new place before selling their current one?
Yeah, people who already own a home and have stable jobs or income, and they might have a good chunk of equity, usually feel more comfortable doing that. They'd rather move just once, skip the renting in between and buy the right place as soon as it comes up.
Okay, so what is your tip for people looking to do it in this way?
Yeah, so when buying first, you just want to make sure that you get the longest settlement possible. And so this is something that's so underutilized. You know, people know it. Logically, they know, yes, I should get a longer term settlement, but they get nudged by the agents that they're working with or by the market into these 30 and 60-day settlements. So if you can get yourself 120 or 180 days, that'll give you plenty of breathing room to manage the sale of your place as well. The second tip is to get your current property ready to go. So think about a short list of good local agents, have a conversation with them about contracts and potential sale price, and research with online tools and agent appraisals so you have a realistic idea of what you could get.
Great. Okay, let's flip the script here. What about selling first? What types of people are you seeing do this, and what are some of the benefits?
Yeah, so some people in my experience, they're often people who are downsizing or more risk-averse buyers, and they take this route. Selling first gives you certainty. you know exactly how much you've got to spend, which certainly helps when you have to factor in stamp duty, legal fees, and all the costs associated with buying.
And Carmel, how do the finances stack up on this option?
Yeah, well, this is more straightforward. So once you've sold your current property and settled, you have the money in your bank account. This money could even potentially be earning interest while you look for your new place if it's in a savings account. One thing to keep in mind is that if the sale of your current home has a longer settlement, it could delay buying your new place since you'll probably need that money to buy the next one.
Okay, so this sounds like an easier option. But Luke, what are some of the watch outs here?
Yeah, well, the big risk with this one is that you can spend so much time out of the market that you actually get priced out of the place that you want to be and out of the property type that you really wanted to buy. So I often see people that sell first, they look for a while and might not find the perfect dream home, and then they're out of the market and the property prices jump. They're left without that same choice, and they might end up having to go to plan B and potentially be out of the market for some time, which is disappointing for most people.
Okay, so the answer to whether there's a perfect option is kind of, not really. There's no one size fits all.
Yeah, absolutely, that's correct. There's no universal answer. It really depends on how much risk you're comfortable with, how much money you have as a backup, and what your priorities are. My top tip is to speak to a Westpac home loan specialist early on to map out your scenario. We'll help you understand the costs, the risks, and timelines so that you can plan with confidence.
And Luke, what about you? What's your tip here?
Yeah, one of the most important tips that I give people all the time is to make sure that you set aside some time to answer the question, what are you optimizing for? Because as Carmel said, everyone's appetite with risk is different, and we're often dealing with families, couples, and people who have multiple decision makers as part of the property project. And if you're really clear from the outset what you're optimizing for, then it can save you a lot of heartache down the road with those hundreds of decisions during the move. For some people, it's really just a financial decision and they want to make a decision that gets them the best financial outcome. But for others, it can be a lifestyle decision. So they may not want to move twice. And getting on the same page and confirming what you're optimizing for really, really can take a lot of the stress out of moving.
So true. And it is a really big decision. That's why it's critical to do your research and to seek out the right advice so that you can make a decision that works best for you.
Yeah, definitely. And this is where expert personalized advice really makes all the difference.
Thanks for listening to the Buyer's Handbook. Join us next time for more answers on the topics that matter most. For more help with your property journey, head to the Westpac How to Buy Hub on realestate.com.au. Eligibility, conditions, credit criteria, fees and charges apply. Residential lending is not available for non-Australian resident borrowers. This information is general in nature and has been prepared without taking your personal objectives, circumstances, and needs into account. You should consider the appropriateness of the information to your own circumstances and, if necessary, seek appropriate professional advice.
Real Talk acknowledges the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, air, and community. We pay our respects to elders past and present.